Hey everybody. The segment that we're in right now, or the part of microeconomics that we're in right now, is called Theory of the Firm. And what we've just got done doing is shooting a bunch of videos on cost of production. But now we're going to make a switch. We're going from cost of production, a lot of groundwork, a lot of foundational work that we've just got done doing in the last, 8 or 9 videos. And we're moving on to market structures. This is kind of like a chapter turn inside of a unit called Theory of the Firm. So market structures. In economics, there's 4 basic market structures. One is known as perfect competition. Then we've got monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. And I've set this up on a spectrum, okay? Perfect competition right here. It's at the very beginning. It's the far end of the spectrum, okay? Perfect competition. Monopoly, the absolute opposite. What's funny is when we do Theory of the Firm, this is where we're going to spend so much of our time. So for the next several videos, we're going to build this one up a ton. And then we're going to switch over to Monopoly and we're going to build this one up a ton. And both of those are extremes. That's not what most firms operate like. Most firms are somewhere in between. But if we can understand this extreme and this extreme, then we can kind of understand the nuanced middle, all these shades of gray right here, okay? Now, monopolistic and oligopoly, I've set this visual up purposely the way I have to show there's a little bit of an overlap that is. There's a little overlap here, okay? They're not perfect, okay? There's all these things we say about these market structures, whether there's barriers to entry or product differentiation. I just want you to understand that we're going to go through those, but it's not perfect between one market structure and another. It's a little bit confusing how I'm saying that. Let me say it a little bit differently. If you look at any individual firm out there, certain parts of that firm will operate more like perfect competition, but other parts of it might operate like monopoly and another part of it like monopolistic competition, okay? So in the real world, firms don't fit these market structures perfect, but we still want to understand them because all we're doing here is foundational work, conceptual work. And once we do the foundational and conceptual work, we can absolutely understand the real world. All right, that's a lot of words. Let's get into understanding what I've got up here on the board, okay? Perfect competition. Let's understand that a little bit better. What are we talking about? We're talking about commodities. What's this word commodity mean? A commodity is a good that has no product differentiate. What I mean about that is a commodity is the same no matter what. So think of an ounce of zinc or an ounce of copper or an ounce of silver. It's the same for every single one of them, okay? Same with corn, same with wheat, okay? Oftentimes minerals that we extract are called commodities, or some agricultural products are called commodities. The big thing is no product differentiation at all. Perfect competition, everybody's making the same exact good. That's the key part, okay? Monopoly, what are examples? Utilities, okay? This is your electricity plant, okay? You usually only have one of them in a city, okay? Sometimes you got more, but oftentimes there's just one electrical grid. That's all there is, okay? So utilities are probably our #1 form of monopoly. Back over here, number of firms. So in theory, what we think of here is thousands, or sometimes we even say infinite, okay? The number of firms here, okay? It's just tons and tons and tons. Number of firms for monopoly, well, that's simple, right? That's 1, okay? So you can see the 2 ends of the spectrum. Product differentiation. When we're truly talking about perfect competition in a classroom setting, okay, a stylized setting, product differentiation, absolutely 0. I know there's some people that might say, there's different types of corn or different types of wheat or whatever, but what I want you to do when you're watching these videos, if we're talking about perfect competition, the good is the exact same. Every producer is making the same exact good. Product differentiation over here, it's perfect. Nobody else is making this good at all. In fact, that gets us to our next one. Availability of close substitutes. When we talk about perfect competition, what's the availability of close substitutes? Well, there's actually perfect substitutes available, okay? So the availability of close substitutes, there's perfect substitutes. Availability of close substitutes for monopoly, none, okay? There's no close substitutes. It's standing alone. There's nothing even close to it, all right? Now, I want to just take a little tangent on this availability of close substitutes, okay? Monopolistic competition. Now we're talking about a lot of close substitutes. Monopolistic competition, that's not what this video is all about. I'm not really going to have to spend any time on this. I really just want to understand the ends of the spectrum. But in monopolistic competition, lots of close substitutes, but there is product differentiation, okay? Moving on, barriers to entry. Big one here. Zero. That's really weird, okay? But we're literally going to say 0 barriers to entry. Suppliers can move into this industry and out of this industry at will. And I also just pulled a little fast one with my language there. So it's called market structures, and I just used the word industry. A lot of times we can use those words interchangeably, okay? So when you hear markets, when you hear industries, a lot of times you can just swap those two words out, okay? So barriers to entry, 0 for for perfect competition, okay? Monopoly, barriers to entry, infinite. You can't enter. Nobody else can enter this thing, okay? They're so big, they're pretty much insurmountable. All right, so just to recap, 2 ends of the spectrum, that's what we're going to be focused on for the next several videos. We're going to build up all the knowledge we need for this end, then all the knowledge we need for this end, and then eventually we'll actually start getting to some of these shades of gray also. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in.